this is KMC CMK9 Master Tech, and this is going to be a tutorial first in my series on making custom scenery for RollerCoaster Tycoon 3. This is going to be very basic. So first we're going to need a couple of things. First, you're going to need the RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 Importer, the latest version, which you can get at rct3.sourceforge.net. I'll provide a link in the description box. And you want to click download, it'll take you to the SourceForge page. You also need the Blender ASE and scripts that make Blender models work correctly. You're going to need to go to this website up here, which again I will post the link in the description box. You will also need a 3D modeling program. For all of my tutorials I'm going to use Blender because it's free and it's popularly used. The alternative to that is Google SketchUp. The paid version of these would be Milkshape, and that one's pretty good. So what you want to do is, to start off, you want to open RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 Importer. Should be version 18v2. And what you want to do first is create a theme file, and you also want to make a prefix. So I recommend coming up with just like a 3-digit prefix for all of your creations and putting a dash at the end, and then what you can do is do file save default prefix, so it'll be like that every time. Okay, now next from there what you want to do is you want to click what kind of theme type it would be: spooky, western, generic. This is a theme for my Spaceship Earth theme, so I am going to use sci-fi. So I have my prefix and I have my theme name. Again, no spaces. Now minimize that, and you want to open Blender and design your model. This is completely up to you, what model you make, how you make it. So I'm just going to make a very simple one. This will be the door. I'm not going to go into a tutorial on how to do Blender. You can look at my Blender tutorials. So, yeah. Let me model this quickly. And you always want to make sure your model is above the plane, not in the middle. And you want to make sure it's in the center. And I'm going to make it somewhat like a door. Close. And you can leave the camera and the light because you're going to need to create a thumbnail and all that. So my suggestion to you is to create a folder on your desktop for it, or whatever you want, however you want to do that. So I'm going to do that right now. And this for me is going to be called doors. And inside you want to create any textures you use. Now normally in Blender you could just use material colors, but for it to work in RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 you need to make an actual image. So you can do that by opening up Paint and putting in any basic color you want. So for example, if I want a black door, so I can fill this tiny little box with black, and everything needs to be in sizes of 2. So the recommendation is for textures use 512 by 512. And you can save that. I'm going to save it as a door texture, as a JPEG is important for textures. Next in Blender, you want to add you want to name your object, of course. So I'll just call this door. And you want to add a material. Again, naming that. You want to add a texture. And you want to go to map input and make sure it's on UV, and you will have to UV map this, otherwise it will not show correctly in the game. Then you want to go to your texture and make sure you choose your correct texture. So for this it's going to be the door texture.jpg. And you can change your mode to textures if you want to see it, and you want to split your window and UV map this however you want. There you go. We have a black door, and what you want to do now for the camera is you want to resolution so you could take a picture and you want to render that as an icon. So for example, this is how it's going to come out. Maybe I want it solid so it looks more like a black object. I'm going to render this out as a 64 by 64. That's what it is for icons. And you can do render this really tiny picture, and you can save that to your working directory. I'm going to save it as door icon. Alright, now I'm going to save my blend file also. It's a good idea to save that, just in case you need to change it later. Okay, now we want to go into our Rct3 Importer. Now, the Rct3 Importer and RollerCoaster Tycoon 3 only accepts triangles. So you have to, in Blender, before you export it, you have to select it, select all, and then you have to go Mesh, Faces, Convert Quads to Triangles. And then from there, you can export it as an ASE scene, and you can name it however you want, but it should be roughly like, I'm going to name it Doors. Alright, once that's done, I'm going to save and close Blender. And now what I'm going to do in open Rct3 Importer, and to do this you create OVL. So textures is what you always want to start with first, and you can open up your door texture. I'm going to name it nice door texture. Okay, now static model, you want to click the plus button and find your ASE file. Now Blender, you want to choose coordinate system and change that to right-handed Z up. Then it's very important to come down here where it says groups or meshes, and for each one choose the appropriate texture that you assigned. So if you have a door here and you want that blue, but you have a different door and you want that green, you have to make sure you have the texture for blue, texture for green, and you select them. Or you UV map them to work. So I'm going to select that, press OK, and since this is not animated, all we have to do for LODs, level of details, is press A and it automatically creates it. Now your prefix should already be filled in up here. Now name, you want to name it, so I'm going to create it Doors. And path, you want to choose your working directory. And you can save as, again, Doors. It'll save the XML so you don't have to do this all over again. You want to create your scenery OVL, it'll give you a warning about your prefix, and then it'll say saving scenery successful, hit close. Now you want to do icon textures. I already have one in here because this is my set that I'm starting, so yours should be blank, and you can press add, load texture, and find the door icon. Then I'm going to make it look nice, press OK, close. Icon references, you can press auto and it'll do it for you. So if you press auto, it should come up with door icon or whatever you named it. Again, I have one already in here, so there's two showing up for me. Alright, now you need to go into text strings, and now you need one for your set. So I have a Spaceship Earth set, so I would do KFS-Spaceship Earth set. That's how it will read as a set. You want to copy that and you want to press OK. Then you want to do it for your doors. So I'm going to have KFS Spaceship Earth Doors. I'm going to press copy, press OK. Now I have that there. The last thing you have to do is actually create a scenery item for it. So you want to click scenery. Again, this should be blank. You want to press add. Now OVL name, you want to choose select OVL and find that one that we just named. It should be .common.ovl. From there, location within theme, you could just type in doors or whatever suitable category. Group, you can choose to not use groups. I like to use it. Alright, so for groups, it's going to be the base icon that I already created. For you, it's going to be whatever icon you want for your group. You'll have to make it if it's not already made. Name, so I'm going to choose Spaceship Earth Set. Now this is, scenery is the actual scenery item. So that's where you choose your door icon and your Spaceship Earth doors. Down here in your scenery options you have cost, so I'm going to make this a cost of 200, a refund of 100. Scenery type, This is going to be, for the moment, it's just going to be small scenery. No supports, extra parameters, none. Position is going to be 0, 0, 0. Size, you have to, when you're in Blender, you have to look at what size your mesh actually is. So for me, it was 1 by 1 by 3, and size in squares is how many squares it takes in the game, like how much free room does it take to place the object. So you want to do for this object 1 by 1. Placement tag, you want to usually choose full tile unless you're creating a wall. Now all these unknowns and everything on the right side, set them to 0. So that's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And if everything works, you should be able to press OK and it'll show up there. Press close. Then all you have to do is press install. Theme successfully installed, and you want to always make sure to save your theme file afterwards, otherwise it'll disappear. And that's it. Now when you go into your game, you should be able to find scenery. You can sort down to sci-fi or whatever theme type you picked, and it should be in the game, and that's it. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please post a comment, send me a message. Please follow me on Twitter, and please comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you. We'll see you in the next video.